Great to be with you on this Friday of the holiday week, Christmas to New Year's. And I trust that this has just been a blessed time for you and your family. We're looking forward here at Falls Baptist Church to our prayer summit tomorrow and on Sunday. We're 4 hours each day from 4 to 8 as we're going to be heading into the new year on our knees. We want to see God work in our church. And honestly, you go no farther than how much you actually pray together. And so we're looking forward to this. And what we've been doing through the Word of Encouragement is following the booklet that we gave to our people, which is a time for their families or individuals on James chapter 4 in preparation to pray. Also, other scriptures are there. And so I've just taken each section and I'm going to finish it out here today. And I trust this will be a help not only to our own folks, but if you're not part of our church family, so that you can pray and ask God to work in this new year. Well, we've looked at the problem of self. We looked at the problem of unbridled tongue. We've looked at the matter of not allowing the Spirit of God to really work in our hearts. Instead of, we look to the world. And then how we become too proud to really be honest and humble and let God break our hearts and draw nigh to the Lord, and how God resists us if we do that. But He'll lift us up if we're humble. And now we're going to look at how oftentimes this shows itself. Verse 13, go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city, and continue there a year, and buy and sell, and get gain. Whereas ye know not what your life shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then vanisheth away. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live, and do this or that. But now you rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. I believe this is one of the greatest problems of American Christianity, is that we've got our lives under control. In other words, we have our plans, we have what we want to do, and that's where the world comes in, that's where the flesh comes in. We want to serve the Lord, we want to do things that are right, but we'd like to do it this way or that way, and we get things all ordered out, and we're wanting to have our needs met through maybe some success or being able to accomplish certain things. And instead of really walking moment by moment under the Lord's leadership, we've got our plans, and we need to plan. I'm a big one on planning, but we're not allowing the Lord to be the one to guide us step by step. In fact, a corporate prayer meeting for a church is vital, because what we're saying is, Lord, we've got ideas, but we want to know what you want. We want to have a unity of heart for your will, because that's the only pathway that's going to make a difference in our church. And so he warns us here that he's warning those that say, tomorrow we're going to do this. We're going to go to this city. We're going to buy and sell. He says, you have no idea that you have it tomorrow. I've been a pastor long enough to be with people one day, and tomorrow they're gone. It's always very unsettling to see that happen. People have great plans, never accomplish them. I've had people that were going to serve the Lord after their business got going or after their home was built, but never saw it happen because God took them. Some very sobering things. So this is a reality. The Bible makes it clear here, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. Very foolish for us to think that things are going to be like we think, especially in our unsettled world, as we've been talking about. So what's the answer? Well, this is what we ought to say. Verse 15 says, if the Lord will, we shall live, and do this or that. If it is God's purpose, if it is according to His will, we'll do what He orders us to do. He'll make the provision. He'll make it work out. But it's because it's His will. It's not our desires. It's not fulfilling our own need for approval. It is the will of God. And this is what the Lord really feels about it. Verse 16. But now you rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. Oh, as American Christians, if we would just let God take a hold of our plans, we would be far more out reaching people with the gospel. we would be far more dedicated to praying individually and with one another. We would understand what God could do in our lives if we were so sensitive to his will day by day. He can put pieces together. He can open doors. He can do things we could never dream of. Those who have walked in his will always say, I never had a clue I'd be able to do all that I've been able to do. Oh, how important it is to let him be our guide. And folks, we need to come to the prayer meeting with that heart to say, Lord, it's your will. And we really are going to depend upon you, and we're willing to do whatever you tell us to do. And then tomorrow's verse, and I'll just give it to you in conclusion here, verse 17. Therefore to him that knoweth to do good, and doeth it not, to him it is sin. In this context of time, what are things that we ought to do? We really do need to pray, folks. We need to come in to that prayer time. It's going to be a sacrifice. Our flesh never wants to pray, but we're doing what he wants. And we need to do that, because if we don't do for that or whatever God's calling us to do, we know to do good, but we're not doing it. It's sin. God is grieved because self has overcome God's will. We're not sensitive to his leadership. And that's really what a prayer meeting is about, getting our spiritual heart open to the leading of God, to know his voice, to get his heart, to know what he is doing. And so I trust that you will be praying, and if you can be there these next 2 days, I urge you to do so. And let's ask for God to do something very special in these days. Just like back in James' day, he wanted to do it, and he did. Well, he wants to do it today, and he will, if our hearts will be where they ought to be.